This is where it is going to get interesting because I think these are easier questions to answer, but they're going to piss off more people.
Hotter topics, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of hot topic, is My Chemical Romance punk?
Not exactly. They are cousins of punk, I will say. They are punk adjacent. Okay?
They're like the rich cousins of punk.
Yes. They're and I for the record, I like My Chemical Romance. I actually do.
Oh no, that's not the question. I like them too.
And I think I like them not through a punk framing, but like I discovered them as like part of the Warped Tour bands. You know what I mean? Like, hey, they're kind of cool too. You know, before they blew up, they have a lot of punk elements in their songs, but that's just the influence of punk. I think they're influenced by punk.
When they were younger and they weren't as good of musicians, they were a lot more into punk. But that's because
they're also influenced by like Queen and everything else though too. And they incorporate, similar to Sublime, they incorporate a lot of their influences, and they have created their own subculture based on their music as well. So I think they are their own thing that's kind of ill-defined, although like related to punk. Like, you know, not like, again, when you take all the inflammatory stuff that people just get mad that they exist and all that, when you actually bring it down objectively, I think they are related to punk.
Yeah, I mean, they're an emo band, which is absolutely related to punk.
Yeah, that's right. The cousins. Yeah, that's.
But like, but I will say that I still, if we're gonna have to go with a yes or a no answer on here, because that's the whole point of this conversation, is are they punk? I'm saying no. I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna say no with the caveat that doesn't mean it is good or bad. It just means no. It's like,
it's not a value statement.
Do you want a cheeseburger today? No. Oh, you hate cheese? No, I love cheeseburgers. I just don't want one right now. And so, no, they're not a punk band. Like, definitively. Like, they're just not. But does that mean that they couldn't go on tour with some punk bands, or that some punk bands couldn't support them on a tour, or that they don't like punk? But no, dude, it just means that the music that they play and the image that they project, it's just a little left of it, man. It's not quite there. And I think that a lot of these young kids, because I have a lot of people, dude, the bands that I get asked that I like, when I tell somebody that I like punk rock, it kind of blows my mind. Because I've been asked, what kind of music do you listen to? Mostly punk rock. Oh, you like Slipknot? I'm like, what? I'm like, no, actually, I hate Slipknot. They're worse than
completely out of left field.
No, dude, that's been okay.
At least Nirvana would be a good response, because there's a punk DNA there. Slipknot,
a lot. I just happen to not like Nirvana, but I think Nirvana's more punk than MCR and the next person we're going to talk about. But like, oh, so you like Slipknot has been the response enough times to where I would bring that up. It's been more than once. It's been no, dude, a lot of people. And it was like, let's see, 2010s probably is when that happened the most. Yeah, I would tell people, like, you know, I'd be at a grocery store and I'm talking to somebody in line. Oh, yeah, what kind of music you like? Punk. Oh, you like Slipknot? No. Well, what's punk rock exactly? So I had to like explain it, because, you know, it's not a thing that everybody knows. Like, my mom has been raising me her whole life and still doesn't really know what punk rock is. You know, so like, I'm not mad at them for that, but this is a weird one to like, I'm like, that's a metal band. Like, what are we, what? But, you know, to like some 50-year-old redneck truck driver, that all sounds the same to them, dude. Like, that sounds just like Rancid to them.
Alternative rock, not as a genre, but just alternative rock, I think, is how people categorize it as
yeah,
like
I guess
rock,
I don't know,
rock that isn't solely mainstream, although it doesn't get much more mainstream than Slipknot if you really break it down.
I mean, I think they're pretty mainstream, but
yeah, but mainstream, but
and that's not punk, people. Not playing.
You know, like I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. But I think if you saw someone see Slipknot, they think, oh, that's a little wild, that's a little dangerous, and that's not necessarily inherent to punk, but it's very there with punk.
It's pretty inherent to punk. I mean,
it goes with it.
Dude. Punk rock is not supposed to be a safe place. I'm sorry, dude, but like, punk rock was never like, come here and don't worry about getting hurt. What are you talking about, dude? Punk rock is come over here and do whatever you want. Like, that's punk rock was never born. Yeah. Punk rock's not a safe place, man. Like, it could be a place for you to be yourself, but it's not a safe place necessarily. Like, have you seen these places where these bands play? Like, I mean, come on.
That should be a defining characteristic of this. If these bands ever played at a place that you could be stabbed, then they get like 10 punk points.
Yeah, dude. I mean, like, there's a place that I go to down here in Houston. I'm not going to talk about it because I want to put them on blast, but like, I love it. But I can guarantee you that most people, and even a lot of people that consider themselves pretty punk rock, would drive by and go, I'm not stopping there. it's a cool place, man. I like it. It's kind of far from my house, but it's a good spot. I'm going there in a few weeks to see this band called Conservative Military Image, and my buddy's band Liberty and Justice, and then my other buddy's band True Intentions are playing, a bunch of like oi bands.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm just gonna call them CMI. I can't stand the name Conservative Military Image. It just brings this like.
Yeah.
What did you think when I said that?
I thought it was gonna be like one of those white power bands or something. When you
I
said that
know,
name.
and they're not. They're absolutely like the opposite of that.
They're probably a very political band in the other way. Yeah, it's just
Like in their
Yeah,
last
I
video,
gotcha.
they're like burning Proud Boys shirts and setting them on fire. Like seriously. So
yeah.
like,
And see, when you
they're-
said that, I thought like it was Michael Graves, the lead singer. I thought you were gonna say when you said that.
but like, oh man, but they're so good, dude. But like,
Mhm.
man, that name is rough, bro. Like my buddy, when he started Liberty and Justice, I even thought like, that's an interesting name.
Mhm.
But
That could be coded a couple of ways though too. Yeah.
yeah, and so like
Yeah.
I'm pretty I'm into America pretty hard though for like an old punk rocker. Like I love where I live, man. I love my
Mhm.
freedoms. I got the freedom to say whatever I want. And so like I get it, but at the same time I'm like, I still lean a little bit more towards like the Virus and the Unseen and like I've been saying the Virus a lot. I've been listening to them a lot lately, sorry.
Yeah.
But like I lean more street punk stuff, but like I get it. I understand like that part of punk because that's definitely
Mhm.
anyways, I'm going to that club to see them and it's gonna be packed, dude. I can't wait. I'm filming the whole thing, dude. I'm taking my GoPro and my phone. Like I'm psyched, dude.
Content.
It's gonna be, dude. That band's so good, bro. Yeah. I'll let you need to listen to their newest album's called what's it called? Something Violence. It's like it's a word you're like, whoa. They have a song called Yard Hard, and it's like talking about being on a prison yard. It's I'm pretty
Wow.
sure that the singer's been in prison.
They were there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's anyways, that's gonna take a real weird turn. But yeah, MCR, not punk, but a good band. I really enjoy their music. Their first couple of albums, I would say, were like heavily influenced by punk.
Yeah,
But,
I would
like-
say they're more like pop punk in those first couple albums before they went full.
Well,
emo.
they're pop punk, but they're heavily influenced by bands like Bad Religion, No Effects, probably even. You can hear it in their songwriting, but they're like the engineering, the vocal styles, the lyrical content. That's where they start to differ. And but I mean, those dudes are some master songwriters, and they're cool dudes. Like I've met them a couple times. Well, I met them all once, and then I met Gerard Way once, and Gerard Way's the singer, right?
Yeah.
Bro, for a minute I thought that was a different singer from a different band for a second.
No, that's him.
Bro, yeah, I met that dude a couple times, and they were all really nice guys. They weren't very much different from the punk guys that I hang out with.
Well, talk to punk guys, like the guys that are in bands, and they're always cool with them. Like that gets brought up a lot in interviews and stuff, and they're always like, oh, they're dudes. They're just another band out there.
Well, they probably
doing their
like
thing.
most of the same music. They just chose to play it a little different. Like
a different interpret. And then they were the kings of the genre, so I think that kind of paints you in a little bit different spot. Whereas, like hey, some bands that I like, we talk about Alkaline Trio has like emo elements to it, or is kind of an emo band, but can go in a few different spots. Whereas My Chemical Romance has to take all the bullets of if you don't like the genre of emo, that's sort of shorthand for I don't like My Chemical Romance, so they get put on a weird pedestal. Yeah,
yeah, they're a good band, dude. I still to this day, I will say that I stopped at about 5 songs on the Black Parade. I like about 5 songs there, and then everything before that.
Yeah. No, 3 Cheers for Sweet Revenge, man. I went through a breakup like right around the time that thing came out, and I was I was like 17. Oh man, it was. I might as well. I didn't dress like an emo kid, but I might as well put on the black eyeliner during that phase because I was in the feels. Yeah.
So I don't have like any kind of disrespect towards anybody. This is a fun topic to talk about, and so anybody that makes it this far into the show, you got to understand that this is not any kind of disrespect, man. All these bands we're talking about, with the exception of the last one, I have a lot of respect for, and I like, and I own albums from all of them.